Goal is to get the variable by itself, positive, on one side of the equal sign. We call that isolating the variable. So, x is already positive. That's like a positive 1x, so it's already positive. That's good. And I now need to get it by itself on one side of the equal sign. And how I do that is I undo whatever's happening to the variable. Okay, we call that the inverse operation. Because right now I'm subtracting 3 from the variable. I want to undo that so that I can get it by itself. So what is the opposite, or what is the inverse of subtracting 3? Adding 3, right? And the rule is, whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other in order for the problem to remain the same. If you just add 3 on the left side, you just change the problem without doing anything, right? So you have to do it once to both sides of the equal sign. When you do that, negative 3 plus 3 is going to become 0. So all you're left with is x, and 1 plus 3 is 4, and the answer is 4. And you can always check your answer by taking that number and plugging it back in for x. 4 minus 3 is 1. Right? That's a very simple example. Okay? It doesn't matter if the variable is on the other side. So for example, let's say I had negative 5 equals x plus 11. I want to isolate x. I want to get x by itself on one side of the equal sign and be positive. X is already positive. It's a positive 1x, so that's good. Okay? I'm adding 11 to x. I want to undo that so that I get it by itself. So that means I'm going to subtract 11. Good. Subtract 11. Do that from both sides. I'm left with x on this side. If I'm in debt $5 and I take away 11 more, I'm now in debt $16. And there's my answer. If I wanted to check it, negative 16 plus 11 is negative 5, and that's true. Still not a bad example, right? Then, let's say we had something like this. Seven minus x equals 12. Solve for x. I want x to be positive by itself on one side of the equal sign. Right now there's like a minus 1 or a negative 1 in front of that x. So I want it to be positive. What's something I could do in order to get that to be positive? Yeah, Danielle. I could multiply by itself. That might give me an x squared, though, if I take it times x. But I know what you're thinking. You're on the right track. Yeah, man. Yeah, if I take this minus x and if I add x, negative 1x plus 1x is 0. That's going to go away. But then I have to do the same thing the other side, right? And you can't add those because they're not like terms, so you're just going to leave it there. You have 7 equals 12 plus x. Now x is positive, so now I just need to get it by itself on one side of the equal sign. So I'll leave it there because it's positive. So I need to move this 12 over. That's a positive 12. So how do you move it over so that becomes 0? Yeah, if you subtract 12, that's going to become 0, and you have to subtract 12 from the other side. If you have $7, you take away 12, you're in the debt $5, and x is negative 5. If I check my answer, 7 minus negative 5, that'd be 7 plus 5, would give me 12. Okay? So if the variable has a negative in front of it, you can add it to the other side, either way, and make it positive. Then get it by itself. Okay? Let's see if you had this. Okay. I want to get y by itself positive on one side of the equal sign. I need to undo what's happening to it. But I have minus a negative 3. That's going to be the same thing as what? Yeah, just adding, right? Two negatives side by side. That's, if you take away a debt, it's the same thing as adding. So now this becomes a very easy problem to solve because I'm going to do what to both sides to get y by itself? Just subtract 3. Subtract 3. Subtract 3. Y equals 7. Check my answer. 7 plus 3 is 10. Okay. Let's see, last one. If you have something like this, I want to get y positive by itself on one side of the equal sign. Right now it's a negative y. Okay. So how can I make this to be a positive y? Or where can I put it to make it a positive y? Yeah, man. Yeah, if I add y, okay, negative 1y plus 1y is going to give me 0, which means I do the same thing to the other side. So I'm left with 15 plus y equals, I still have this minus 4 or negative 4 there. Then finally to get y by itself, what are you going to do to both sides? Undo what's happening to it. It's a positive 15. So I want that to be a 0, so I get y by itself. So I will subtract 15 from both sides. That leaves me with y equals, if I'm in debt $4 and I take away 15 more, I'm in debt $19, and that's my answer. Okay. We've probably seen some of this before, right? Yeah, no? Feel okay with that? Okay.